Welcome to CRN Spotlight, Illuminating the IT channel, where we cover cutting-edge technology and so much more. Today's data center is where the action is. It requires unique server solutions that run elaborate business-critical workloads. And as these workloads become more complex, solutions must also keep pace. Listen in to our latest channel casts to learn more about Intel's data center blocks and how you can start delivering industry-leading solutions with the latest Intel technology.
With so much buzz and interest around the data center blocks and how they fit into sort of the different areas and different focus areas, what's sort of the first thing that people should do when they log off of today's program? What would you say is sort of the first next step they should do when they get off the program today?
I think the first next step would be to look at some of the links that we provide in the presentation that we'll hand out. So that's a great first step. Now, I know a lot of the listeners will have Intel representatives, but when I also say contact an Intel representative, I know that not everybody here has that. So we can provide, or we will provide, links as well to get in touch with Intel and start scoping out solutions yourself. And we will love to help you with that as well. Those are the first steps. Go ahead and dig into our links here. We have a lot of resources available on our websites. We have things like deployment guides for our vSAN ready nodes and our Microsoft Cloud blocks. We have a lot of technical product specifications for things like the security blocks. Take a look there, and then when you feel like you're ready to explore deployment, please contact Intel.
Excellent. Now, actually, that brings up something else that I wanted to run by you, which is this. I'm sure you meet with customers and potential customers and people who hear this, or they see you at a trade show. And what's sort of a common question that you get from customers that's sort of either a need that sort of speaks to them, or something that that just they're sort of intrigued by? A question that you would get from customers in a live setting that maybe you could pass on to our audience here, and then how would you sort of answer that?
Customers ask me all the time about why Intel data center blocks. Of course, Intel Inside is very important for much of the industry, but when it comes to an all Intel data center block like the ones we offer, that's where customers are kind of delving into new territory, right? So, for instance, with a VMware vSAN ready node, why would they want an all Intel solution? Well, Intel is a technology leader, and our data center blocks are technology leaders. So if our customers want to be first to market with amazing new technologies, like NVMe was a good example in our last generation, and then Optane is a current generation great example, and a future generation great example will be the new Optane DC memory that has been introduced and is now publicly previewed in the market, right? So we're a technology leader, and we're constantly including these latest technologies in our platforms. And of course, the end goal is large market adoption, but Intel is the first mover for these. And that technology leadership is very valuable. We want our resellers to be perceived as technology leaders as well. Another example is QAT. So if you look at the NFVI block we have, that offers a symmetrical QAT solution. Quick Assist technology is new as of our most recent generation as well, and that offers a lot of compression and security capabilities as well. So we would encourage our resellers to be technology leaders, and that is, I think, the question that I get asked the most is why Intel? Why an Intel server block? And my answer is you will be a technology leader.
Excellent. Excellent. So another question, Nick, that I actually had for you was in sort of part of this sort of struck me as, in some ways, Intel's sort of answer to, the converged and hyper-converged marketplace. Is it fair to say that this is, sort of Intel's answer to that, but the customizability of this and the sort of, the ability to really customize your own solution here is sort of the answer? Is that a fair assessment of how this sort of fits into the marketplace?
Yes. Specifically for the VMware vSAN ready nodes and for the Microsoft Cloud blocks for storage spaces direct. Those are two major plays at hyperconverged infrastructure. Now, hyperconverged infrastructure is a multi-billion-dollar TAM, and it's continuing to grow at a very high double-digit CAGR in the next couple years. So the Intel data center blocks are a fantastic solution for that, especially, as I mentioned before, if a customer is looking to be a technology leader. Now there are, as with most markets, right, there are multiple players, and so we try to stand out with our technology leadership.
I do want to get to one more thing before we go. Given all the stuff we've talked about, all the questions that we had in sort of both of our presentations, what is the one thing that people should take away from this, sort of the most important thing after hearing today's discussion? What would be the one thing that when they get off the program here, they sort of remember the most important thing to take away from today's program?
I would say be optimistic and don't be afraid about diving into new markets, working on expanding your differentiation. I think that we are freeing up a lot of people's resources this way. And I think by using Intel's data center blocks, we really provide some value to allow people downstream to really focus their headcount. Those engineers are so valuable. And especially with our current economy, the rate of, it's harder for businesses to find employees these days because the economy is doing fairly well. So, really free up those headcounts and use our solutions to help you and to improve your differentiation in a very competitive world.
You can find the complete recording of this channelcast under the events section on CRN.com. For CRN Spotlight, I'm Alexa Rowe. We'll see you next time.